All right, what up, everybody? Welcome back to the JP podcast. I've been slacking a little bit. I'll be honest with that. Been posting as much as I should be, but trying to get back on that trend. Holiday months. These last 2 months, kicking my butt. I'm still trying to figure out gifts to get friends, family. I got some, but I still get more. But for this episode, welcome back to the JP podcast. I'm the host, JP. This episode's gonna be a little different. It's to be more me being honest. It has some parts of me being vulnerable, and then honestly some parts that I need myself to hear too right now. See, we're diving into this idea of always being the strong one. And you might be asking yourself, what does that mean? But that means literally the person everyone expects to, be solid. The person that always holds everything together. The person that, has the role of, nothing breaks them. And they can push through anything. But this episode, it's going to talk about how that role, yes, how the strong one, being the strong one, can actually pull you away from God if you're not careful. But look, before we even get into it, yes, my faith is part of my conversation. I know I haven't been talking about my faith a lot on this channel, but I'm going to start to now because faith to me is very important. My faith of what I believe in, of my Lord and Savior, is important to me, and it's part of my conversation. It's part of my story. But this episode's also for everybody. You see, even if you're not religious, I've got some close friends who aren't as religious, who aren't as religious, but they also still believe in some kind of higher being, or some kind of thing in the universe, or just even something bigger than themselves. Yes. So this message still applies to everybody. Because at the end of the day, this episode is about surrender, it's about support, and it's about realizing you don't have to carry life alone. You can do it with people by your side. But before we get into that, time to try out a new bum energy that I got. It's cola. So let's give it a try. And in my bowl, mac and cheese, because I hit some shoulders and arms a little while ago, but here we go. All right, first sip, Second sip. It's giving off cola. It's pretty good. 5 calories. It's same thing as the other one that I had before, the Dr. Bum, but now it's cola. That tastes pretty good. And my homemade mac. But now, let's get into it. All right. Wherever you're listening to this, that role of the strong one is the first section we're going to talk about. So just dig deep, dive in, and just follow along. Maybe this could help you. Maybe this can relate. But if not, just stick around. But if you're listening to this, there's a good chance you know exactly what it feels like to be the strong one. So you're the reliable one. You're the friend that, always gets the, bro, you got a second? Or, hey man, can I talk to you? Like those messages, those conversations. You're the person people lean on. You're the glue of the group, or the friends, People expect you to hold it together. Like they don't see the hardship that you're going through, or you know they always just want you to be. You always show up as the friend that's always strong, glued, and ready for anything. Don't get me wrong. Sorry. It feels good, to be needed, to be helpful, to help people, help your friends, serve them in a way that they need to be helped with. But it feels good to be dependable, being that person that they text or being that person that responds, everything, making sure everyone's okay, checking in on everybody. Like it's good. It's a good feeling. And it also feels good to be the rock, the foundation of the group, or the person they know that if they get into trouble, no matter what, they'll answer, they'll pick up, or they will respond in a timely manner. But what people don't see though, it's is the pressure. Like they don't see that maybe you're going through something terrible. You got a busy week ahead of you, and you just put in that like that fake face or that fake smile that I'm okay, I'm okay. Like think of it as like this is terrible, but like Get Out, that movie, like you're stuck in you're there, but you're not there. You're behind your body, and you're just seeing through like your eyes are like the windows of the glass, but you're just showing up for people. But what we don't see is the pressure that there's behind that. Like what is actually behind their mind or their eyes of what are they going through. See, those are some of the days where you're barely holding on to yourself, but you still show up for others. The time where this happened for me was probably a gym moment. So for me, it was this happened is when I was on prep. So it's my own, not fall, but I put myself there because prep for my first bodybuilding show, cutting, not having enough nutrients, eating smaller portion meals, drinking a lot of water to make it feel like I'm not eating as much or making myself feel fuller. But as I was working out, I had some random member or gym person come up to me asking for advice about how to do some sort of lift. I don't remember because that day was just drainful. Like I was just mentally out of it, physically, mentally was shot. But I know like I don't remember, but it was like something about like using cables for why do I do it a certain way? Does it actually work? How can you show me? And I just felt like I was on the back burners, like going through the motions. Yes, I was explaining how I do it correctly. How I do it may not work for you, but we just tweak it up a little bit just to get the form right, to get the corrected form, posture, and just making sure the weight's not too high. But as I look back, it's like, yes, I was drained. Mentally, a little annoyed because, when I work out, I don't think I'm mean looking, but sometimes I like am locked in that like maybe if you don't know me, I might look like I'm like pissed off, but I'm not. I'm just locked into the zone that I need to get to prepare my body to like full failure and destroy my muscles in a healthy way so I can build more muscle and build more mass. But that story was basically me explaining or just letting you guys know like, yes, I felt drained. Yes, it was a lot for the mental space. But as I look back, it's like I was still able to explain the exercise that to that person in a correct way without being annoyed or being like frustrated of why are you talking to me? Get away from me or like stuff like that. It's just I was able to still help. Even though I wasn't fully, my brain was not fully there. I was cracked up on caffeine and pre-workout. If I didn't have that, probably would have told him to like piss off. JK, I wouldn't have said that. But I'll probably been like more like, I have no idea. I can't help you. But I did. Because that's who I am. I'm someone who helps people, even when my days aren't always the best. But we all go through those days. I'm not trying to play victim or anything, but yeah, we all go through those days. We have our highs and lows. Because being strong becomes your identity. And that part is dangerous. Because if we're strong all the time, we forget that we're human. Like, we will have highs. We will have lows. It's all part of, our journeys of, if you feel low, and instead of being the strong one, quote unquote, it's you rely on friends. And I'll dive deeper into that in other sections, but for right now, it's okay to feel drained. It's okay to feel pressure. Like, you don't always got to be the rock of the group. You don't always got to be, always on. That mentality. But how being strong can actually distance yourself from God. So, here's the crazy thing about this. So, the stronger I tried to be on my own, the stronger I tried to, like control everything, make things go my way, instead of, listening. The farther I drifted from God without even meaning to. Like, I wanted to control everything. Make sure everything goes my way or the highway. Even though that's so stupid to think. For me, at least. Maybe not for you, but for my religious people, like, the more I wanted to control my outcomes, the farther I was drifting away without knowing it of God. See, because when you try to handle everything on your own, your faith is on the back burners. Your faith turns into the last resort instead of your foundation. Instead of, we don't have everything. We don't have everything handled. So we rely on turning to our foundation of God, praying to Him, talking to Him, reading Scripture, going to if you want to go to like small groups, young adults, all those kind of things, youth group, whatever it is. Go to those to get a different perspective of a message from a pastor or what they're talking about. Instead of I can handle it. I'm strong. I can do it my way, and it'll be okay. But like for me, I'll pray when things get bad. Like when I hear bad news, I'll pray. When things aren't going the right way that I thought they were going to go, I'll pray. See, I'll trust God when I've tried everything else. Because as I've learned, as I've rekindled my, my relationship with God, is that He's always gonna be there, so I gotta stop trying to control everything, It's gotta go this way, logically about what's gonna happen, the outcome and all that. Instead of, settle down, calm your mind, and just talk to God. Just trust in God, trust in Him that He'll help you, whatever it is you do, or any kind of higher being, trust in that higher being or universe or something bigger than yourself. Trust it. And yes, it ain't no miracle. It ain't gonna be like a magic pill or a magic resort of like it's gonna be solved right then and there. Like it doesn't like it. To me, for me, it doesn't work like that. It's like just minor cues, minor messages I hear around me. That's when I know it's like okay, he's God's talking to me of what I need to do. If it's being repeated, it's just how he comes to me. It's like when I hear random sayings, I zone in, zone out, and it's like I hear it like 5 times in like a span of like 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, this is weird, but this is what I've been like praying for. This is what I've been talking to him about, and he's like telling me these signs of just calm down, relax, and just don't put it all on yourself. Trust in me, because I will be here for you. And then basically, when I feel burnt out or when I feel like over exhausted, I rest, and it's okay to rest. I'll talk that more about in another episode, but we're allowed to rest. For my gym goers, if we don't rest, we're gonna do more harm to our body. And in life, if you start to feel burnt out, take a couple days off and just reflect on what's happening. Because when you try to handle everything or try to be strong for everything, that's not faith. See, you're in this kind of survival mode of it's got to work my way. I got to be able to do this. I got to, I'm not saying grind, execute, hustle. Like, those things are phenomenal and the right mindset and the right foundation. But if you're in that survival mode, you're trying to just fend for yourself, like, think of it like that. Like, survival mode is usually like apocalyptical. You survive. You're fending for yourself and getting what you want without going to the guidance or going to people close to you. Because literally in scripture, it literally says right here, Matthew 11:28, come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. In that scripture, but here what I'm doing is I'm gripping life like, no, nah, God, I got it, I can handle it. But in reality, my inner voice is saying you can't handle it. Like, you can't. And it's just like those moments of like, it literally says, come to me when you're weary. But my ego starts to get out of my head, and my ego starts to go up and say, no, I got it. God, I don't need you right now. I only need you. I'm feeling bad. I only need you when, things aren't going right. Which is not the foundation I want to recreate, and I've been working on that of highs. If I'm feeling great, I talk to God. I'm praying to God for everything. If I'm feeling, down, still, same. Like, no matter what I do, I'm talking to him as if he's a friend. Like, if I'm talking to my best friend, that's how I talk to God. If you want to just get a imagine it, like talking to my best friend, going at it at each other. That's how I literally am talking to God. Like right now, like this how I'm talking, how I'm like. This is literally how I talk to God. It took a while, in the beginning, like it was so like weird to get back into of like, just saying, God, I'm here, like I need your help right now. Like, it was just didn't feel natural anymore because I was drifting away. But as I kept doing it and bringing it back in, it got easier and easier, and it got more comfortable. It got more like normalized for me. Of like the way I talk right now, that's how I talk to him. So I'm just gonna say, you don't need to have it all handled. You don't need to do it all by yourself. Trust in some kind of higher being. Trust in someone else in your life. Just trust someone that they'll be there for you. Why strong people struggle to surrender. So this is where we go a little deeper, a little more, on the spicier side. There's three reasons. The first reason is, you see, control, it feels safer than faith. Yes, control feels safer than faith. Strong people want results, strong people want to see things. We want outcomes. We want just control, control, control. We want certainty. We want to know everything. We want to know why. But the faith aspect, the faith is trust without proof. We just trust, trust, trust. I know it's hard in the beginning to just trust without finding or knowing the outcome or the certainty of what's going to happen or what we don't know. And that's hard for disciplined people because disciplined people, they follow control. They follow, again, the results. They want to know what is the why instead of, just trust. Just trust in trust. With faith, it's just all about trust. Trust in God, trust in the foundation, trust in the Holy Spirit, whatever it is that you need to trust in, and just know that it's okay not to be in control. Because like reason 1 says, control feels safer than faith. Reason 2, vulnerability feels weak. Oh my gosh, we hear this all the time. Like, if you're vulnerable, you're considered weak. Like, talk about men specifically and especially being conditioned to never show cracks. Like, I get it. Like in past generations, yes. Men can't show weakness, or you look like a little wuss, or like you're a loser. Because we've been told our whole lives, like, that our emotions are our weaknesses. That asking for help is weakness. That leaning on anything outside of yourself makes you soft. That's all BS. You see, I used to go by this way, being a vulnerability. These things, asking help. Never ask for help. Then I start hurting myself. This is the gym, not asking for spots when I needed spots. Leaning on people. I really didn't lean on anybody. I was really just head down. If I'm feeling some type of way, keep it down, push it down, like talk to myself only, and not leaning on my community, my faith, but just in that mindset of don't show weakness, don't be vulnerable, because in the society we live in, if you're showing emotions, if you're asking for help, if you're leaning on anything outside of yourselves, it makes you soft. That's all BS. That's all BS. So vulnerability makes you feel weak? No, it doesn't. It makes you stronger because you're able to actually talk about your emotions. You're actually able to speak up about what you're going through, and people might not want to hear it, but the real people, even God, people in your life, they will understand of what you're going through. Doesn't make you soft. It actually makes you stronger. And people don't realize that. Reason 3. We confuse independence with strength. See, there's a difference between being strong and being isolated. Some of you are strong because you had to be, not because you wanted to be. Take it in for a second. Some of you are strong because you had to be, not because you wanted to be. This could be, traumas in your life that you dealt with, or bad news you got as a child, or even as an adult, early adult, like adulting, no, what I was terrified, not like even when like your early adultage, like you see things or you find out things, and you gotta, you know, mature quicker than you should be. Instead of enjoying the time of being a kid, you have to grow up quicker than others. You have to be stronger because you had to be. You had to look out for a friend. You had to look out for siblings because in the movies they do happen in real life. Some of those movies, family members dispute, and the older siblings have to take care of the younger siblings. And it's not that they wanted to be; they had to. But let that breathe for a second. All right. Before we move on to section 4, see the hat on the table? It's Just Jesus. Use code JPIFIT Malta Apparel. I'm pretty sure it's 15% off. But they got some good merch. Very good merch. But again, use code J underscore. I think it's JPIFIT Malta Apparel. They got some cool stuff. They got some hats, shirts, hoodies. I think some stickers, some flags. It's a good company. It's a very good company. So, a breaking point that I had. So I'm gonna tell a story about. I started to feel overwhelmed. So we're just gonna talk about the gym. A gym session or a gym training day. As I was in the mindset of working out, training to failure. Getting my lift. The pump is crazy. Sweating like an animal, and everything was going good. But then at one point it just hit me. I just couldn't focus anymore. My head was everywhere. My head was, thinking about 10,000 different thoughts of the whys, or what is happening, what is this, what, like, who, where are they at, like all those, like, for out of the blue. I couldn't focus on my lift anymore. So what I tried to do is, push through it. But then I found I started to realize my rest periods started to be longer. My workout was becoming to be not as efficient of what I'm doing because my head was not in the right headspace of where I was at the gym. So I went home, or I got in my car, and I was like, what is happening? And instead of, calling a friend or reaching out to somebody, I just sat there in silence of what is happening. And instead of, this is when I was drifting away from God, of like, literally at that moment, I should have talked to God and I'm like, hey, why am I feeling overwhelmed right now? Like, talk to me. What is happening? Like, give me some sort of sign of like, put a song on, like, the next song on the radio, make it good. Or the next song on my playlist, if I hit DJI mix, what is it? But I didn't do that. I just sat in silence of just in my head of why am I not focused? So I had to be honest with myself. I wasn't carrying life anymore. See, life was just like anchoring me down or dragging me down. I think a lot of people, they feel like that right now. You might not agree with it. You might be like denying it, but come on. I feel like a lot of people who are strong are feeling that right now. You see, you don't break in those big moments. You break in the small ones. And that's when, you know, now or a couple months past months is that's when God has stepped in. See, not when you're shouting, but when you start to finally get quiet and the silence starts to appear, you know God steps in. For me, at least. In days that I'm not focused. Same thing. Besides, I had one more thing: is I talk to God. I talk to Him, and I ask Him, God, why do I feel overwhelmed? What is causing this overwhelmed feeling in me right now? And just sit there, and He steps in, and I feel like that, like that warmth, that feeling of just peace, just calm, just. And then it just, it doesn't magically go away, but like it starts to fade out and more, and then I get to go back to my routine. But that's what, like, if anything, if you feel, when quiet nights hit you a lot more than others, gym sessions, like for me, my story is that you can't focus, random moments when you start to feel burnt out or losing peace even though your life is fine, just take a deep breath and just sit in the silence, but talk to someone. Talk to someone who's bigger than yourself. I don't care if you say, name, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Just talk to yourself in the car, at your home, whatever, on the street, on a walk, and just talk to yourself about, why am I feeling these ways? And you'll see a big difference of that feeling starts to fade. I'm not saying it goes away it doesn't go away 100% of the times, because sometimes some things trigger things, and it's okay, because we're all human, we all go through those, but just talk to someone. So the faith part, but not in no preachy way, because remember I said this episode's not just for people who are like faithful. It's for people who believe in something else. Cause see, I've got friends who aren't religious or who aren't Christian, but they do believe in something higher. They believe something higher themselves. They believe in a higher being. They believe something in the universe. They believe something above us. And we've talked about this. How humans naturally reach for something bigger when life feels heavy. It's, to me, I think everyone has had that. If you can't, naturally reach it, we go to something bigger than ourselves when we feel heavy. It's because deep down, you might deny it, but come on, think about it. Deep down, we know we were never meant to do this alone. There are things that are heavy for us that we're supposed to have people's in our life to help us through whatever it is, grief, happy moments, denial, whatever it is. Like when things start to go crap or things are great, there are people who are supposed to be with us, because we're not meant to be alone. For me, that higher being is God. And when I started actually letting Him be a part of my life, be a part of my stress, my overwhelmed feelings, my emotions, my decisions, my routine, I noticed small changes in my daily life or in my life in general. It wasn't instantly, no. No, 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 no. It took consistent time of me actually letting him soak into my life, be a part of my life and my journey and my routine. But it was slow. It wasn't magically, like, no. I'll be honest, not magically, but it was quietly. See, the times in silence I felt, yes, I reached out to people. Yes, I can reach out to friends, but sometimes I just gotta sit in that silence for a little bit and just, let him be a part of my life. Because I said, like, in an old episode of, I saw a video of, it was like a TikTok meme or Instagram social, like a reel of like a lady going out to see friends for a drink or going out, to dinner with a friend or friends, and it slides onto the next photo of it's God's time, and then it slides to the next photo of he will be waiting for you no matter what. Like, he's always gonna wait. He's always gonna be there. Like, yes, we all go through stuff. We have days where, like, oh, routine of times I read my scripture, times I do my daily prayers, my devotionals, and if it does get off routine, I can't let that, dig a deeper hole in me because I know, like, yes, I miss that time with him, but I know he's not gone. I know he's still waiting at that table for me to talk to him, and he will never leave my side. Because as soon as I got that quietly silence feelings, letting that in, actually letting him be part of my life, I started getting peace instead of panic. Started getting clarity instead of chaos. And I started feeling more support than ever instead of being isolated and alone. See, this is where it gets real. Is that faith or anything in general isn't about being perfect. Faith is about being dependent. Yes, faith is about being dependent. And I feel like this might, hurt some people's feelings, but strong people struggle with. Let whatever that higher being into your life, into your routine, into your stress, into your decisions you make, and you'll see, not in a day, not in a week, not in a month, but over time, that being that's higher than you will help get peace instead of chaos, panic instead of will help get peace instead of panic, clarity instead of chaos, and feel more supported with your small circle or your community than ever, instead of being alone. Some practical ways to surrender. So, sorry, I'm eating my mouth full. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm gonna break it down raw and simple. Some practical ways to surrender. One, talk to God like he's a friend. Not formal, not fancy, just how I'm talking right now. Like, this is how I talk to God. It's like, hey, God, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I need your help. Or, hey, God, this is how my day went. It was amazing. Work was great. Clients are moving quick. Clients are getting the progress I want them to see. Or, hey, God, my life right now, it's not doing too great. Just help me right now. Be by my side. Stuff like that. Two, tell him the stuff who pretend doesn't bother you. Like, tell him the stuff you pretend that doesn't bother you. You see the stuff that you hide even from yourself. The things you're going through, the addictions, the maybe the rumors that are being spread about you, whatever it is, tell him. He's not going to judge you. He's there for you. 3, choose rest without guilt. And we have like for my fitness people, it's okay to rest. Don't feel guilty about resting. You need that rest for recovery, repair. Rest, recovery, repair. You need those 3 R's to gain more muscle and more endurance to your muscles, because if you do not rest, hot take, maybe some people don't agree with me, but you can cause more harm to your body because your body's under that stress of not able to do anything the correct way. Because rest is obedience. Yes, rest is obedience. 4, let people help you. You're not alone. Remember, like I said in the previous part of this episode, somewhere along the lines, it was, we're not meant to do things alone. Like, we're meant to have people by our sides. Because even your non-religious friends can be God-sent support. I go through crap. You go through crap. Your friends will check in, or you check in on them, because they are there to help you. They are your community. And if you can't talk to them, then it's like, just don't be alone. We're not supposed to be alone. We're not meant to be alone. So talk to people who you feel comfortable with, obviously. Don't go talking to random strangers unless that's your thing. If you want to talk to random strangers about your day, do it. But they might not fully understand the whole side because they don't know you as well. But if that floats your boat, do it. Talk to people. People help you. People will understand. And last but not least, 5. Admit when you're overwhelmed. Admit when you start to feel anxious, stressed. Those feelings of emotions. Admit. Because that's strength. If someone says that weakness, they're wrong. Because they're going through something right now then. Because admitting when you're overwhelmed, that takes strength. And it's not weak. All right. If you're the strong one, I do see you. I get you. At sometimes I am you. But strength isn't about carrying everything. Strength is knowing when to hand stuff to God, or even just speak it out loud. So stop trying to be superhuman. You're not built for that. You're built to lean, to rest, and to trust. See, this is your anchor moment. You're built to trust. You're built to rest. And you're built to lean on people who support you, even if they're not religious. Lean on those friends. Lean on those people. Family members, if so, too. Anyone that you find close that is comfortable with you, or you're comfortable with, lean on them. Because they want the best for you. They have the best intentions for you. But that's today's episode. So if this hit, send it to someone who always acts like they're good. even when deep down you truly know they're not. Cuz somebody out there needs to hear this today. And whether you believe in God, the universe, something bigger, or you're still figuring it out, I just want you to know this. You don't have to carry life alone. You don't have to do everything by yourself. You're allowed to have people in your life who support you, who promote you, who hype you up, and who will be your ride or dies. Because I got people like that in my life. And if I have people like that, you definitely have people like that as well. So don't take that for granted. Trust in your people, trust in your friends, and trust in your family because they got the best intentions for you. And again, we are meant to have people in our lives. We are not meant to be alone. So I appreciate you guys. God's got you. And I'll catch you in the next episode.